Hey guys, SJV Firearms here. Just going to show you how to install a UTG quad rail system. First off, you're going to want to remove your dust cover. Pretty basic. Slide out your bolt spring with the same thumb button you use for the dust cover. Remove your bolt assembly. Set those all aside. You're going to want to remove your gas tube by flipping that lever up and pulling the gas tube out. You want to take your gas tube and spin it inside the forestock 180 degrees and it'll slide right out like that. And then get rid of the forestock and that metal seat. You won't need that anymore. Then for the lower half of your forestock, there's a little metal seat. You want to flip that latch forward on that metal seat. And then to get it off, I use a rubber mallet. And I don't hit it real hard, just give it a couple taps and it'll pop off. Because usually it's pretty stiff, especially if it's a brand new gun. Then slide your forestock off. Set that aside. Slide that metal seat back into place over the groove on the barrel. Make sure it's snug and then flip that latch back. Then you're going to want to get your gas tube back and this metal spacer that's going to come with your rail system. Looks like that. It's got two set screws and it's got two grooves on the top and the bottom. Make sure the shallow groove is facing up towards the gas tube. I half slide the gas tube on like that, and then I just pinch the spacer in between the two and then pop the gas tube down. Sometimes you got to wiggle it around a little bit. Then latch your gas tube down after you've got it in place. Make sure that spacer is also on the smooth part of the gas tube and not the fluted part. Hand tighten those set screws in. Don't crank them down because you'll bow your gas tube. You don't want to bow that because then the rail you're trying to install won't fit. Could cause other problems as well. So just hand tighten them down. Then after that, you want to get the lower half of your quad rail. And I've got my vertical grip attached to the quad rail just because I didn't feel like taking it off. But you're going to get 4 spacers that look like that come with the quad rail to ensure there's no wiggle. I only use 1 spacer. It's probably different for different guns. But you slide that spacer right in the back of the quad rail, closest to the shooter. And you slide it up in there. Usually you'll have to wiggle it around a little bit. Then I take an Allen wrench and I just make sure that spacer is flush up against the gun because usually it ends up sticking out. Then after that, take the top half of your quad rail. Make sure the long end is pointing forward and slide it down. This is usually the part where you'll realize you made a mistake of some sort. I did it about 100 times. But just give it a wiggle and it should pop right down in. Then I just give everything a good squeeze, make sure everything's flush, make sure everything's in there right, so that you don't strip your set screws when you go to screw it all down. Then take your set screws and just drop them into the 4 holes, like so. Then tighten them down with an Allen wrench. Now, what I've noticed with these 4 set screws that hold the actual rail together is after 50 to 100 rounds, if you're at the range, especially in cold weather, these set screws starting to loosen up. They won't come out, but to the point where you could take them out with your fingers. So I would put a piece of Teflon tape maybe on all the screws, and that'll keep them in there a little bit better. But just be aware of that when you install this and then take it out to go shoot, that they might be even, I crank them right down and they still end up coming loose after a while. So just put a small piece of Teflon tape on that. I'm sure that'll probably fix it. Then after that, it's just as simple as putting the bolt assembly, the bolt spring, and the dust cover back on. Slide the bolt into the housing. And take your bolt spring, slide her in, same way it came out. And then your dust cover. And then that's that. Thanks for watching, guys.